Hey, but this code transfer for inserting this very, very, very subtle and elusive shade of meaning in your life if it works in the first place, because I think you have to have a fluorite to use to do it. And back when I was in Derby, I gave my high quality fluorite to a dearly loved friend called Jenny, who I have such loving memories with, although because of the things that were happening in Derby with me at the time, with me making up nonsense negativity just because of it just sucked to live in Derby. I think it was geopathic stress. I gave the fluorite to her, and now that I actually know how to use crystals, fluorite might actually be quite invaluable to me for the reasons, for the reason why I'm going to share with you in this video. Now, what I've noticed is that if you're a really community-oriented person like me, who gets most of your fuel for how much meaning that you have in your life based upon who you have in the world around you, then when you don't have those people, a lot of colour can just get drained from your life. A lot of meaning can just get drained of your life. Although I'm targeting a shade of that's very specific, because I have a radiantly loving community in Southwold, and there are also a lot of idiots in Southwold, although, and by idiots I mean people who you could be going like, hey, I have the solutions, I have the solutions to all these things, and yet you can literally just be doing this all the time and say, I've had these accomplishments, and I can do this. I think I know. I think I'm better than your doctor. I think I know better than your doctor, who's basically just selling you pills anyway. And they won't apply shit that you say. My system gets this subtle layer of meaning from the parkour community that I don't think it can get from here, and I've attempted to use this crystal right here. I think it's a form of jasper. I think the feeling that this promotes is the subtle feeling that you get from those crucial, like something like board games, like those small meaningful activities that you do with close ones and friends in order to build meaning for life from, that we don't have much today because of XYZ. I'm gonna give you a short story to illustrate the point of what I'm saying more. As in, if you are vulnerable to this subtle change in meaning in your life, then if you don't have this, then it can basically mean that the rug can get pulled from your life in moderation levels, and it can just absolutely whomp you into coping mode, like I'm in. And because I don't have this, it means that after a few weeks of not being with the parkour community for 1-2 days, my system starts really going coping mode, sleep schedule goes completely out of order, and I start relying on 85% cocoa content chocolate again. Which is healthy for you, although I'd rather not eat a pack of I'd rather not eat a pack of healthy, powerful chocolate every day. I've never smoked. I've never drunk alcohol. I've never done any drugs. I am one of the cleanest people you'll ever know. Though it's also like the brief story is I go to the parkour event in Sheffield takeover of this year 2024, and I get there. I get out of the hotel basically when I woke up that morning, because this gives me point in living. This gives my system a reason for living, for waking up early in the morning, and I don't have that. It is worth crying over, although I've got a lot of coping energy in me. Thanks to this desert rose, I want a lot more desert roses because of this. So I got to Sheffield at like 7, which was the earliest out of everyone else. 5 hours before I think Liam came. 2 hours before John and Jazz Reality got there. I of course predictably walked around this small area from the train station, 3 homeless people there, which you want to make a significant impact on, and there's this crowd effect in the middle class just saying no, don't, or just don't help them out, although help people out with basic stuff in the middle class. And well, you want to make a significant impact on the homeless people. However, I walked around and just your system feels like there's just nothing there. There's no colour there. There's no meaning there. It's just this black and white, blank slate with absolutely nothing there. And then parkour community arrives and there's suddenly an abundance of colour. There's suddenly an abundance of things to do. Without this shade of meaning in your life, it takes an extreme amount of energy in order to not really get much, in order to not really get anywhere, because your system just doesn't have this incentive just to do something. And when you don't have this layer of meaning, life gets very boring. And I think it's one of the things that makes you a fast track to becoming a soldier, as in Frank Puslik's series Shamans and Worries, where to not dip much into the extremely negative detail. When life gets that boring, you start going into a ton of mental issues, not knowing why they're there, and you start believing in nothing, and believing that there is nothing, purely because your system doesn't have that incentive. And Liam told me that at least when you have that layer of meaning that he doesn't know about, there are a ton of things to do in Sheffield. It's just that you have to know how to look at it and where to look at it. Although if you don't have this incentive, if your system doesn't have this level of meaning inside of it, then you won't physically be able to access that kind of perspective. Your brain will switch off and you'll become extremely exhausted. And while I don't have a fluorite with me, I've got a crystal that can be targeted towards it. You won't get as much power just from hyping yourself up against this with a power pose, though we can do the best we can, right? Fat guy walked outside of my window. So if you can go in, if you can feel like you can just endure whatever it is right now, just target it towards this meaning of there's reason to live. Like I have a lot of reasons to live, although you take this level of meaning away and you feel like you don't have it. So feel like you can endure whatever it is, and let's give away some energy to cope. I'm gonna eat another piece. You know what? I'm gonna add in this crystal too. This crystal felt wonderful when I initially received it as a Christmas present, which is one of the only good things that happened during dark winter. Things you have no control, that the pains you have no control over. That was an underwhelming tuning fork hit. Like the frustrated tuning fork thing. This crystal feels so good for this meaning. I feel like that meeting is done for me for the time being, so I wish you bliss, and tell me in the Instagram DMs how this has impacted you, because it makes my day to acknowledge how it does and just how much power is in my system without me realizing it. And another thing, just how much power I have that my ignorant family, I don't seem to physically be able to acknowledge.